Hey, everybody. Happy Thursday. Welcome. I am Haley Gray. I'm the group owner in the Women's Entrepreneur Network. And I have commandeered Joe's group, Bedrock Business Builders, as well. And I've got Joe DiChiara, the amazing CPA, here with me tonight. Hi, Joe. How's it going?
It's going great, Haley. Wonderful.
Cool. Tonight, we're going to be talking about a subject that is near and dear to my heart because I am an MBA. I am not a CPA, but this is a problem that many of my e-commerce clients have. And so here's the deal. I'm an MBA. I love my education. I've taken tons of accounting classes. I discovered in that process that I'm not exactly, but kind of allergic to accounting. And one of the things that we run into a boatload, a batshit ton load, I mean, all the time in my business, doing websites for people is when we do e-commerce websites for small businesses. And one of the questions that they're asking me is, where should I collect sales tax? And I'm not a CPA. And I have to say, look, guys, I'm not an attorney and I'm not a CPA. So I can't tell you what your terms and conditions need to be. You need to talk to an attorney because that's legal stuff. That's contracts. But the other thing I cannot advise you on is taxes. When do you need to withhold sales taxes in what states? And I see people spending an absolutely mind-boggling fortune because they sold $15 in Minnesota and they're filing taxes in Minnesota and Arizona, and they're filing in every single state out there that they possibly made a sale in, and they are wasting hundreds and hundreds and hundreds to thousands of dollars a year out of their money filing taxes everywhere that they don't need to be talking because they didn't talk to Joe. That's what it boils down to. So explain the concept of Nexus, Joe, to people here so that they can understand what this is.
Oh my God. Or not just talk to Joe, or somebody like Joe that actually knows what the laws are and what Nexus is.
Yeah.
But let me start by saying, I've been saying for years that sales tax is the most complicated, convoluted tax that there is. Mm-hmm. And it's extremely, extremely important for the state and local governments to collect as much as they can. And so it comes down to compliance and what are you actually supposed to do? Mm-hmm. And, I've seen some horror stories because if you don't collect sales tax when you're supposed to, mm-hmm. Guess who's liable, Haley?
You are.
You got to pay the tax.
You still got to pay it.
Guess what? In the fine print, when you sign up to be a business owner and a sales tax, when you become a sales tax vendor, the level of compliance and responsibility go up 1,000%. Okay. And I'll tell you why. It has to do with what they call trust fund taxes. Mm-hmm. Have you ever heard the term?
I have not.
Okay. Trust fund means that when you sign up with a state to be a registered sales tax vendor, you are responsible for collecting the sales tax on all of your sales. And if you don't, that's on you. That's on you. So there is no corporate protection. Okay, when you set up a corporation, there's a level of legal protection, right?
Yeah.
Not when it comes to sales taxes.
Right.
Same thing with payroll taxes, but that's a whole nother issue. Mm-hmm. Because payroll taxes, you can hire a payroll company.
Yeah.
And they'll do it, and you usually don't run into a problem.
Yeah.
Sales taxes, there aren't companies out there that are processing your sales taxes. It falls on you, the business owner,
to figure it out and make those payments.
to figure it out and try to figure it out, because even CPAs and attorneys get confused.
And most CPAs don't know how to do this stuff.
They really don't.
They don't. I mean, oh my gosh, the horror stories I could tell you. I've had people who are brand new e-commerce sites that have never sold a thing on their site. They're like, I need to file taxes in all 50 states. Can you help me do that?
Why don't we go to Europe and Canada and register there too?
Oh, sure.
Here's the other issue.
You know, register in China and Japan too, because we might eventually sell something to them.
Want to know something? They're talking about a global economic tax structure. Believe it or not, it's on the horizon. It's going to happen. It's going to happen eventually. So companies like Apple and FedEx and all of these companies that get away with not paying any taxes because they set up foreign entities, that it's going away. But let's stick with the sales taxes. So the state and local governments need the money, so they're on people, right?
Right.
That's where the compliance comes in. So you got to make sure that you're legal. Technology has made it a lot easier for the different states and the IRS to share information. Your IP address, okay? They know where you are. So the question of if you have to charge sales tax comes down to what you said, nexus. What is nexus? It's a legal term that has to do with your physical presence in a state. And there are clear definitions of how to determine if you have a physical presence. Number one is if you have employees. If you have employees in another state, you're supposed to be registered in that state. And you have to collect sales tax on any sales in that state. If you have an office in that state, a physical presence, you have to collect sales taxes in that state for the sales that you do with those, you know, the residents of that state. If you have salespeople that are going into that state and actively soliciting business, you have what they call nexus. Okay. If you don't have nexus, you don't have to collect or register in that state. Okay. So if you're in California or North Carolina, wherever, and you're only doing business in your state, that's all you got to worry about. And these e-commerce sites like eBay and Shopify and Etsy, they all have systems where you could put the information in and let them know that no, I'm not registering in this state. So it's automated. But you got to know that you don't. I don't know. Unless you're like Amazon, you don't have to file in every state. Amazon has a physical presence in every state.
Yeah, because they deliver, they have trucks, they have warehouses, they have.
And that's why a couple of years ago, if you noticed, you started getting charged sales tax on all of your Amazon purchases. It wasn't like that years ago.
Yeah.
And that's it. For me, it's pretty cut and dry.
But what about the person who wants to, withhold sales tax, for Georgia because they made $15 worth of sales and file taxes in that state?
If you don't have an accountant, get one, or if you do have an accountant, get a new one. Or you could waste all the time and effort filing. But now, once you register in that state,
Mm-hmm.
you're in their database. You got to
Mm-hmm.
file every quarter, even if you don't have sales.
Mm.
And if you don't, you get a penalty.
Ouch.
So good luck with all the admin costs on doing 50 states. Imagine filing 50 state sales tax returns every quarter. Now, honestly, I'm thinking as an entrepreneur, I'm like, I could set up a business like this and just do sales taxes everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And I would probably make a lot of money because people don't know that they don't have to.
Right.
I wouldn't do that. I can't do that because it's not the way it is.
Right. No, I get it. It's just, to me, it's one of those things where I see people just getting started in their business, and then the next thing you know, they're talking about incurring literally thousands of dollars in accounting fees a year and filing fees and registration fees, because every state that you do business in, that you're doing that in, you have to register in that state. So it's another couple of $100 at least per state that you're doing it in per year. So $200 times 50 states, you've just spent $10,000, give or take, that you didn't need to spend.
I think something that we really have in common, Haley, is the fact that we both hate seeing people struggle
Mm-hmm.
for the wrong reasons, because they just don't have the tools and the resources and the connections that you provide through when. People, I don't know if people realize the quality of people that you have in your circle.
Oh, thank you.
Well, the information that's available, things like the events that you put on, the fact that you're interviewing me right now. I'm not paying you for this.
No, you're not. This is intended to be educational, because I've hit this problem and I've had this exact discussion with probably a half a dozen people so far this year. And I understand that a lot of times people think I'm being wishy-washy if I say, look, you need to talk to a CPA about this. You can't talk to me. I'm just a website designer. I'm just an MBA. You need to talk to a CPA, and you need to be comfortable with the advice that they're providing. But you need a CPA that has experience with e-commerce if you're going to be doing e-commerce. You need a CPA like Joe, who's going to provide that information to you and tell you, yes, you have to file in this state. No, you do not have to file in this state. And furthermore, I'm going to slap you upside the head and tell you you're being stupid because you're spending an extra ding, 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 dollar signs that you didn't need to spend.
So if you, I know you see me on social media, you basically put me on social media. But if you see my messages now, it's all about finding the money and keeping the money.
Yeah.
It's not just about bookkeeping and accounting and taxes anymore. And one of the things is the black hole of time.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just the 10 grand. It's like, how much time are you spending needlessly? And not only that, what about the fear and the anxiety that come along, the stress?
Mm-hmm.
It's just like, I think we both want to help people eliminate that kind of, there's enough stress running a business.
Yeah, you don't need that for extra fun and pain. Seriously. So I've actually got a link up right now. It's timewithjoe.com. It allows you to book a call with Joe. It's a 15-minute free call. If you've got like tax stuff, if you're not sure about your current CPA, if you don't have a CPA and you're in business, you need to talk to Joe. It's amazing. And I'm going to sit here and tell you, as somebody who works with a lot of small business owners, behind the scenes, in front of the scenes, whatever, you need a good CPA as part of your advisory team. And you need somebody that you know is not going to take you to the cleaners. I've had CPAs who, as a matter of course, would file an extension for me every year, whether I got them all of the information in February or not. Literally costing us months and months and months until we saw our tax returns and until we saw our refunds. Joe gets stuff done early. He gets it done on time, provided you're not like giving it to him at the very last minute. And he saves people a lot of money. So, I mean, you need to check Joe out because he's pretty awesome.
And that was not a paid advertisement.
That wasn't a paid ad. That's because I genuinely like Joe and I respect him.
Listen, I love you. I love you. I respect you. You're an inspiration. You're a leader. And we need more people like you. But let me just add this one thing. What's really sad is we're talking about people that actually want to do the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, oh, if I got to file in all 50 states, I want to do it. Mm-hmm. And that's what's heartbreaking. When I find people that actually want to do the right thing, and they just don't know. They just don't know how. Listen, I didn't know about how to start a Facebook group until I met you. Right? Mm-hmm. So that's my story, and I'm sticking with it.
Right. And it's staying in your zone of genius. One of the things that I'm a big believer in and why you don't have me advising you on your, should you be holding taxes here or there or on. Honestly, you need to talk to a CPA who knows e-commerce. Not me. I'm not a CPA. I'm literally I'm an MBA. That's a very different thing. And I know websites, but I don't know, do you have legal terms and conditions for your particular industry? I don't know.
I'm chuckling now. I'm laughing because I'm like, that's like people asking me how to do a website.
Right, or how to build a sales funnel.
They actually ask you about taxes?
They will, yeah.
Oh my God, you have a
special
gift. You have a gift. That's
an LLC or an S corp, or should I do this or should I do that? And I look at them and I'm like, honestly, I can't tell you whether to be an S corp or an LLC because I don't have any insight into your finances. I'm not a CPA, y'all.
That's a testimony to you because they're just looking at you as like, oh, she must know everything.
Well, yeah, I took a crap ton of accounting classes getting my MBA, but y'all, I'm an engineer with an MBA.
Yeah. So if anybody connects with me, don't ask me about social media or doing your website.
He'll send you to me.
Or relationships and how to raise your kids or anything like that.
So you mean to tell me that throwing them in the room and locking the door and throwing away the key might not be the best advice?
That's how my mother raised us. She would throw us in the room and say, kill each other. I don't care.
I threw my kids in the kitchen with a Valiant salt lick. No, just kidding. Although my kids have been trying to kill each other. Yeah, it's super important to know that there can be huge repercussions, if you're filing things wrong. As Joe was talking about, sole proprietors versus LLC versus S corp. What's that going to do to your taxes? How likely is it going to cause you to get audited? Haley has no clue. That's Joe's domain.
I have it. I have a webinar coming up on June 15th, and I'll explain all of it to you.
Yeah?
Yes.
That's cool. Yeah. And, seriously, if you don't have a CPA in your business, you need one. And Irene says 100% agree. Joe is the best. See, another happy person. It's amazing, how much extra people end up paying in filing fees and taxes and stuff that they don't need to pay in their small businesses. And one of the things we talk about in Women's Entrepreneur Network is, anybody can help you get into business, but staying in business is the hard part.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know how many businesses I started and they're not put it this way, I started them, and right now I have 2
Mm-hmm.
out of, let's say, 30.
Mm-hmm.
So that's not a good formula.
No.
Right?
But 95% of businesses fail, and one of the reasons they fail is money.
Well,
And
I
one of
think
those,
I'm sorry. It's not money. It's not understanding it, being
well, yeah.
being afraid of it. And I think one of the things that I do well is I draw back the curtain. I show people it's like the Wizard of Oz, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like he's not a big bad monster. He's just a guy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the IRS is out there, but when I pull the curtain away and I reveal how it works, it's not that frightening anymore.
Mm-hmm. Oh, totally. Yeah. And I mean, I think it's just, it's understanding how the finances work. It's understanding how to keep more money in your pocket. In order to be profitable, you have to keep money in your pocket and not be spending it and sending it to the IRS or to whatever state, filing agency.
You have to be able to operate without fear, without stress,
Mm-hmm.
without the uncertainty.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
I mean, think about it.
Yeah, I do. So you have a really cool program. So I think a lot of people also are afraid to talk to you because they're afraid that it's going to be expensive to work with a CPA. So tell me about
I understand that, and
program.
so we address that, because I've done a lot of marketing research, and I said, why don't people hire CPAs? Because that's a real problem.
Right.
Not only CPAs, but good CPAs. How do you find a good CPA? And a good CPA, to be honest with you, is going to charge you $300, $350 an hour.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you can get a bad one for $250 an hour and less. And I said,
yeah,
that's just too expensive for people.
Yeah.
Just starting out.
Yeah,
So
nobody can.
We
Most
created
it.
we created a $47 a month CFO package for new businesses because we wanted to make it like, oh, you got to be kidding me. What's the catch?
Mm-hmm.
There is no catch. That gives you the fundamental bookkeeping and compliance guidance that every business needs, because who wants to start a business and just spend money?
Mm-hmm.
Right? So I'm thinking, I'm an entrepreneur. I'm like, I'm not spending $500 to hire a CPA until I start making money. And that's the flawed mindset. That's the problem. And I believe that we solved that problem by making it unbelievably affordable, and there's no catch.
Mm-hmm.
You could ask all of my clients. You can ask Meg. You can ask Irene. We're on a mission to help people.
And y'all are doing an awesome thing. Speaking of children trying to kill each other, mine are currently in process. So if you hear some strange thing and bumping, know that it's only because my boys are chasing each other.
And we talked about writing your children off as a tax deduction, as a business deduction.
Yes, they need to be paid a salary.
Yes. To be continued.
To be continued. I love it. If they would quit trying to kill each other on my lives, I might actually pay them a salary.
Good luck with that.
Yeah. At least this time, there is not brie being thrown across the kitchen. Story to be continued. Y'all can speculate as to why there might have been brie thrown across the kitchen. Yes, brie thrown across the kitchen.
Not only do we get great information, we get entertainment with Haley Gray.
Exactly. Do you hear the screaming now ensuing in the background when I mentioned brie being thrown across the kitchen?
Food fight.
Yes. Because the oldest son was trying to get the youngest son to try brie, and the youngest son was not having anything of it. So the oldest son was chasing the youngest son around the kitchen.
I resent these accusations of my wrongdoing.
Why are you licking the knife?
Because chocolate.
I would have done the same thing. I've done the same thing, only not with, I don't think I did it with brie.
So now he's licking knives. So anyway, I'm going to go pull out the whip, the chair, and the cattle prod. And I'm going to let you guys go. Thank you guys for joining me. Thank you, Joe, for joining me tonight. This has been awesome. I'm so glad you joined me. And y'all check Joe out, timewithjoe.com. And we will post the link to your workshop as well in here in the comments after we get off the live. Thanks, guys.
Okay, good luck with the brie.
Yeah, this is chocolate cake this time.
Oh,
We'll see what happens. Oops.